NXT Deadline just went off the air. We just had a watch party, but we're not done here on Unpopular Review. We got some stuff to talk about. We have a show to review. We're going to talk about results. We have the return of Cora Jade. We're going to talk about the men and women survivors match. There was a steel cage match, and Dragunov killed somebody. We're going to talk about it all after the intros. Oh, I'm muted. Oh, okay. Now, there we go. My computer's so slow. Hey, guys. This is the Unpopular Review, the NXT Deadline Review Show. I'm one of your hosts, the Great Grand Slam Pooba. I'm joined with the Wrestling Doll, and I'm with my co-host on the Hammerlock Hangover, former UPR host. You know, the phrase, how's hell froze over, I feel like so fitting. Welcome, Evil Dose Jeff Lippman. How are you, sir?
You just rained on my promo. I was going to say, hell has frozen over because it's been 10 years since they fired me off this place, and now I'm back to the day 10 years later, just like Riho when she feuded with the Outcast in something 2013, just like AEW produced tonight. Yes, it is my game, Evil Dose, back. Spoiler, I was Dark Heiser all along.
There we go. Spoiler. And we got the Wrestling Doll. Why don't you say hello to the lovely people? As I get my voice together.
Well, hello, everybody. As you can see, I am dressed in my best attempt to look like Lexis King. Even though during the watch party, somebody said I was trying to look like Cora Jade, which was not the case once I put this bad boy on. But I'm fine. Even though I did yell quite a bit, my voice didn't completely fade away, which thank the Lord.
You don't have to rub it. You don't have to rub it in.
No, I've gone to wrestling shows when I first started. My voice was gone after screaming. So
before we break down everything, we had this watch party. But Evil Dose, what did you think about NXT Deadline as a whole?
NXT Deadline was delightful.
That's his thing. Delightful. It was a fun show. I mean, 7 matches. I missed the first match. It was
Axiom versus Nathan Frazer.
I missed that completely. I took a nap and then I woke up at 7:30 and I said, all right. So I missed it. I saw that I was surprised by this.
Plot hole. It didn't start till after 7:30.
I was still asleep.
Well,
go ahead, please.
This was the kickoff before the start of NXT Deadline, and we had Nathan Frazer and Axiom getting their rematch after the unfortunate incident of all 5 of the women in the Iron Survivor Challenge tonight attacking each other while their match was happening. So they're like, oh, we need to give them their rematch. Let's give it to them during Deadline, which was basically a rematch from the last time those two fought on NXT, which was a main event worthy match, in my opinion, and everybody's opinion that was there that night. But it was a fun, entertaining match. They worked together plenty of time to know their movesets to counter each other. And I was very surprised with the outcome. And I was even more surprised with what didn't happen that I thought would happen, which was Nathan Frazer turning heel.
It looked like a Evil Dose.
I agree with most everything she said. I mean, it was a fun match to kick it off, fast-paced, to get the crowd hot. I was surprised by the ending, both by what she said and also what she didn't say, but maybe is thinking too. I mean, I know like Axiom was on SmackDown recently, so everyone sort of figured that he'd win because of that. But I just figured Dragon Lee handpicked his opponent there, and because they're doing so much to get Dragon Lee over, and they already have Rey Mysterio. I mean, I don't think they need another masked luchador. That's not really a WWE thing. Not saying that the winner of this advances to the main roster automatically, but Nathan Frazer, former Ben Carter, is, He's very fast. He's sort of for that style. He's sort of unique and super fast and pretty precise. Axiom is too, but he's very small. So I was expecting Nathan Frazer to win, or at least, yeah. And just like you, after the surprising loss, I was expecting Nathan Frazer to attack him either before or after the handshake. It looked like the camera was lingering, but the production played that trick on me all night long.
So, okay, just to make sure, because I missed this match. So Nathan officially turned heel by attacking.
No.
No, he did
He
not.
didn't attack Axiom, but they made it look like he was going to.
Oh, okay.
He took his hand, he actually smacked it away. But then he still shook
his
hand.
Oh, okay.
But then he gave the bro handshake and a hug.
Ah, okay. He did. What was that thing from that movie with Arnold and Creed? And they did I think I'm doing it totally wrong. Okay, so it's not, I mean, I know these matches. This match was great. I mean, you just go back to their best of 5 match. I mean, even though I didn't see this, I could tell that this was a great way. It's pretty much what WCW used to do back in the day with the cruiserweights, where they would get the crowd hype by their fancy moves, and sounded like it was a great thing. I was disappointed when I heard that could we do the polls, and I had Nathan
Everybody in the poll except for Miss Shay Sawyer was disappointed that.
But it didn't matter, because who is your champion? That's right, this loudmouth right here with my Gun N' Roses bandana. I am on fire. I'm about to make a rock band right about now. I just need a cool name and someone who can play drums. Jeffrey, I'm looking at you.
The Jack Pack could be a band name.
That's good.
I mean, you sort of look more like X-Pac.
Oh.
I feel like I look like X-Pac because my hair's longer.
Yeah. And she has the jacket. Sure. No, you give more like Bret Hart vibes, but it's the bandana. That's if you take off bandana, you got Bret Hart vibes. That is fantastic. That's right, Jeffrey. We're not gonna.
Lexis King
and you're going to be in the band too. We're going to have you.
For it, so.
This is all going to be our band here, right here. Yeah.
In fairness to me, she is a woman, and so the first time I meet her, I don't think I'd be comparing her to a man. Maybe after I got to know her better, I would be able to see past that. But for me in a band, I think maybe just because of my size, I'm probably like bass player or like the drum pedal.
The drum pedal. There we go. Were you getting it? I thought you could do like the flute. I'm just thinking someone with a guitar, a flute. Jeffrey could be the drum.
Like Ian Anderson from Jethro Tull.
Yeah, there we go. You could do that. I was thinking I could be the guy with the leather jacket, and I just like do splits because I can do those.
Play harmonica a lot, it's like the guy in Blues Traveler, so I could do that.
Fantastic. Let's go on to the next match. The show opened, and I was surprised by this because, God, my notes are like all over the place.
On Tuesday, when Trig told Melo that he got his match with Lexis, like he told him, "You gonna start the show, and I'm gonna end it."
Yeah,
but that was
that line screwed up all of my picks, or a bunch of my picks, by the way.
Oh, they screwed up a lot of your picks. I want to say the show opened up. We had
we instead had Dominic versus Dragon Lee for the NXT North American Championship.
Before we get to that one thing, let's talk about this segment right here. We had Shawn Michaels come out there. He comes out to everybody loves Sexy Boy. It's a great theme.
It was catchy. I was dancing to it.
No, it was fantastic. He was getting ready to tell people.
That's a playlist of WWE themes right now.
Oh, you can't go wrong with that theme. He comes out. He does his stick where he goes like, where were they? They were in Bridgeport, Connecticut, right? And he says that. He says, "Oh, you guys are ready for a good show. Are you guys good?" And he gets ready to tell these people to suck it. But before he could tell people to suck it, he stopped from telling them this. CM Punk comes out, and I love CM Punk. What I love about CM Punk is he comes out with fashion. He comes out with the Bret Hart hoodie, knowing that Shawn Michaels in the ring. I loved all of this. When I saw it, I said, CM Punk, you are forever a fave of mine.
Montreal screw job. That's what I thought when you said that just now.
We don't talk about that. We have moved on from that. I think we have to grow from that. But Shawn Michaels is a terrible person for that. But he comes out to the ring, CM Punk. Says, "Oh, did I ruin your stick?" And Shawn Michaels says, "Nice hoodie." He said, "Come on, you two have made up, like me and Triple H made up. This is all about healing." And he talks about the decision that he has, or if he's going to go to Raw, SmackDown, or NXT, which is totally out of the question, honestly. Like, I would love for him to go to
Impact.
Huh?
More likely than Impact, despite what Impact fans I do believe.
You know, it's so interesting because Impact made a play for him, and shout out to them. I think they are definitely out of the league of obviously WWE, but shout out to them for just being like, hey, would you like to work here? Shout out to them. But they've got some things going. I mean, we said on air, they have signed Trent Seven. They're gonna have Will Ospreay on the show and Okada. I don't know these shows, but they have them. So
you know how many tickets they've sold to that Okada show so far?
Oh boy,
248.
Oh,
stop talking to me about Okada. World, I'm tired of it. He ain't nothing on this side of the Pacific.
Well, you heard that one from Evil Dose there. We got but did you guys want to say anything about this segment before we go into the North American Championship match?
No.
I'm good, man.
Fantastic. I don't know what to say about it anyways. The only thing I like about CM Punk now, I still just like his theme song and singing along to it.
It's a catchy song.
Listen, it's nice for people who paid to go to an NXT show and they basically sold out the place, 5,400 tickets or whatever, more than AEW did for Dynamite Edge versus Christian. So it's nice for him to go there and say hello to the fans and give them a treat. They weren't expecting to see CM Punk, and
well, there were articles and stuff about him being backstage over there. So
yeah, there's always articles, and he posted the picture of himself outside of headquarters at Stanford, but. You know, he said he missed his plane. You know, he's lying, but still, you know, when you bought your ticket, whatever, a month ago, whatever, you weren't expecting it. You might have been hoping, but you weren't expecting it.
I do.
Fair warning: when he was laughing while you were talking, he was not laughing at you. He was laughing because of somebody that's in the comments.
I just want to sit here and say, let me break you in. Let me break you in, Evil Dose. So the chat, I am the chat champion. They know me as the chat champion. Thank you. But JL right here, let's highlight this gentleman right here.
I used to work here.
Right, JL.
He is the biggest fan of Braun Breaker, and anytime he loses, he has a bitch fit, and anytime he wins, we never hear the end of it.
Well, what's wrong with the shoe?
I don't know.
I'm sure he meant bullshit show, but he typed shoe, So JL from one JL to another, the joke's on you because you said bullshit shoe.
There we go. See, you got a guy here. Listen, working with this guy, he's made me get better at my speech. So when I mispronounce a word, he'll make it clear that you need to pronounce it better.
Which he will be doing when we talk about the women's Iron match.
I can't wait.
It's going to be fantastic. But we see you in there, JL. We see how angry you are. Look, the reason he said shoe is because he's so mad. He's very enraged that Braun Breaker did not win. But let's talk about Dragon Lee. The Dragon Lee with his fraudulent mentor, Rey Mysterio, going against Dominic Mysterio. I just wish Dragon Lee mind his business. He had no business being in this match. He got his ass.
Put him in there.
Rey Mysterio, how does he have that power? I keep asking people that, and no one has given me any answers. The same way no one's given me an answer on how Tony Stark just knew Peter Parker was Spider-Man and Captain America Civil War. That was wild, but that movie was great. But that was wild. But Dragon Lee, Rey Mysterio somehow gets power. I guess he got power because he got injured, and they said, hey, Rey Mysterio, we feel bad that you hurt your mask. So, hey, why don't you put a match together? Yes.
I can answer both of those questions for you. First of all, Stark Enterprises is a tech company that dealt with spyware and military hardware. So obviously he could have nanotech bots and satellites everywhere. Plus he's a cajillion billionaire and could have had a lot of private eyes to figure that out. So not very hard to put that one together. The other, what does the word Rey mean in Spanish?
King, like Lexis King.
King. And Mysterio's
No.
He's the mysterious king.
No.
There is your answer. He's the mysterious king. The king overrules GM.
It was not Rey Mysterio's decision to put Dragon Lee in there. It was Shawn Michaels' decision because he felt Dragon Lee still had more to do before he got called up to SmackDown.
Shawn Michaels has been on the bottle one too many, apparently, because he needs to get this fixed. Dragon Lee has no.
Yes, he do. Dominic Mysterio would still be NXT North American champion, and we have to see him on Tuesdays. Now we don't have to worry about his ass on
Well,
Tuesday.
look,
Let me have my moment.
Okay, my bad. My bad. Listen, I'm not trying to argue with you, but Dominic, I mean, I like any of these people in this match, but they had a solid match. These two, Dragon Lee, Dominic Mysterio. Dominic comes out alone. There was no mommy. There was no Judgment Day.
Which proves our point that he can only win with the Judgment Day helping.
One of the things I really love.
The Judgment Day helped.
This is entirely consistent with the story, what she just said, and that Judgment Day is falling apart.
Yes. I do want to say a few things. I mean, these guys, I thought they had a really solid match. I do want to sit here and say one of my favorite things of this match was Booker T just crapping all over Rey Mysterio right in front of him. Just did not care. Shout out to the real King Booker. And he said, yeah, you know, Rey Mysterio is good, but he should mind his business. And I said, you know what, Booker T?
He's right here.
Right there in front of him. I loved it. I just wish I wish Booker T just stepped on his shoe. That would have made me much happier. And I can't explain. Yeah, right. That's right. The bullshit shoe.
Well, listen, his brother is Stevie Ray, and what does Ray mean? King. So, you know.
Well, he also had the slapjack, too. I wouldn't mess with that man.
That's right. It was a tie. It was a push. You had two kings out there.
There we go.
Sort of.
But this match was solid. I thought it was good. There was a spot where Dragon Lee went for a powerbomb. It looked like he didn't get all of it, or he slipped, and then he was able to recover. But I liked how Dominic counted it to his own powerbomb. Dragon Lee, I didn't even see what put out Dominic, because Dragon went for the powerbomb, he kicked out, but it was almost like it was a sudden finish, because I put my head down. Next time I heard is 3 and Dragon Lee won. Dragon Lee is the right outcome of this match, because I said they had a match on Raw months ago, and he would have looked like a dweeb losing to Dominic again. The only thing I knew about this match going into this match is that, the North American Championship is going to be on the main roster still. So Dragon Lee is your new champion. Ray, he hugs the fantastic fraud Ray. Ray says, "Good job, son." Terrible dad. What did you guys think? We'll start with you, Wrestling Doll, and then you, Evil Dose.
Well, I was very happy with the outcome of this match, considering the fact that I no longer will have to see Dominic Mysterio on my TV on Tuesdays ever again now, which means that Dragon Lee will be able to come back to the NXT audience, since Dominic Mysterio did the same thing. Since he has the NXT North American Championship, he can go back down there from time to time and defend himself from whoever challenges him and steps up to the plate. The match was great. I love the spot where he had Dominic hanging from the turnbuckle and would just stomp down on his damn chest like that. And he did it twice. He was able to do it twice. Because normally when that happens, it happens once. They don't let it happen again. But he let it happen to himself again. I was just like, holy shit. Taki mushrooms, this is going crazy. But I was happy with this beginning. I didn't mind that it wasn't Lexis King versus Carmelo Hayes.
What do you got, Evil Dose?
I'm a pretty big Dragon Lee fan. I watched couple years ago, I said that Dragon Lee and Bandito are the two best luchadors that aren't signed by any major company, and probably including that are signed with any major company, except maybe Santos Escobar. And yes, I'm including, at the time, 45-year-old Rey Mysterio and Penta and Phoenix, and all the parade of midgets they have over there at AEW, etc., etc. But I thought it was a pretty good match. Dragon Lee has not been as crisp as I've seen him in the past. He still seems to be, his Hurricane Radas don't seem to, his legs don't seem to catch the ears all the way, and the follow through. It's like you can tell the other person's doing the follow through on their own, which is not unusual in wrestling at all. I feel like every Charlotte match that happens, but I don't expect it with Dragon Lee and a luchador, and with Dominic Mysterio. That said, even though it wasn't as crisp as I liked, it was the right decision. It goes with the Judgment Day story, and yeah, Dragon Lee can go on both brands, and he's under less pressure on the main roster to do stuff because he has this NXT title, so he's important in two places, and so he's just sort of getting over with the main roster crowd. This will help that, and this puts him into feuds that matter, but he doesn't have to face the the Walters and the Solo Sikoas of the world about it, but he could. That's the fun thing about this. That's the fun thing about the North American title sort of taking place of what the Cruiserweight title was, 4 or 5 years ago.
That's an interesting point.
They took off the Cruiserweight title a year or two ago because of the stuff that was happening in terms of like with the weight thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cruiserweight title.
This out. This will be the second time that Dominic Mysterio lost that title, and both the tag team champions have lost their titles once. So I can't wait for Rhea to yell at them to get it together to be able to keep their belts and to never lose them, and for her to point out that she's the only one that still has the belt and never lost it.
Wait, who did a Jeff XOXO? I want that. Put that.
I'm sorry, I thought that was up there already. Let's see.
Hi, Charmaine. It's so nice to see you. How's your daughter? Oh, my sexy wife is even sexier. She's like fine French red wine. She gets finer with age.
French red wine. That's great. That finish surprised me, honestly. And Jeffrey in the chat says, if he's a fraud, then he's the luckiest one. Like, he's a fraud. I don't even think his leg is really hurt. I just think he just want people to do. I think he's a mafia king.
Surgery.
This is a Jeff heavy show.
He's gonna be out for probably.
It is. Not long enough. When Santos kick his ass again, I'm gonna be right here and sit here and tell you.
Moving on, please.
Yeah, because I don't want to talk anymore about this stuff. It's upsetting, but it was really well done. The next thing we had, they opened. The second match was the women's Iron Survivor match. Jeff, let me ask you real quick, right? The first one that they had last year. How did you feel about the Iron Survivor match?
I remember very specifically how I felt because people were shitting on saying how complicated the concept was. And I said, listen, I have confidence in the people at NXT that they're not going to make it overly complicated for basically the rookies and the young wrestlers. And they're going to have this thing really booked out very well. And they did. Last year, I thought it was a big success. And I remember that Kiana James was one of the standouts of that because she really seemed like she held that match together. Right. So I really enjoyed it last year, and I'm glad that they repeated it. I think they should have the confidence to repeat it maybe in the main roster, but I hope they continue to give us new kinds of matches, not just the same matches with different stipulations or different versions of blood and guts or elimination chamber or whatever. So, I like this. This is one of the first new types of matches in a while that makes sense and it has points. So it's, it seems like it's competitive and there's a lot of room for drama and stories.
Oh, yeah.
So
I loved
it. Loved it last year. Loved it this year.
A lot of drama on Tuesday.
No, you and I feel like you nailed it, that part with the drama. Me and Wrestling Dollar and EC, we did a watch party, and that last minute, especially if you have someone you like, oh, that person's going, and you're rooting for them, and it's just, I mean, my heart rate increased just because. In this match, I went for Lash Legend. Who did you go for, Wrestling Dollar?
I went for Kaylani Jordan.
Right. And I thought Lash Legend had a fantastic showing when she came out. I know I'm not breaking
this Fallon and Tiffany.
Yeah. And she looked great. And I thought they did a fantastic job. You mentioned too, Evil Dose. Kiana, not Keilani. Kiana last year, she had a breakout performance.
And they made her tag team champion.
Yeah, and she was. I mean, a lot of people were sitting there saying, "Oh, this girl can really go." I feel like this year was Lash Legend. Lash Legend, I thought looked really. You know what Tiffany can do. I'm sorry, I don't even have all these.
What an idea what Fallon can do from being on level up to going to the main of NXT, main roster of NXT, so to speak.
Kalani.
What Kaylani can do, and then
right. And you take your time with her too, because she's young. She's like what, 22, 23 or something like that. So she didn't have to win this, but she could have a good showing. But Lash just was a beast in this match. I mean, and I remember saying too, I said she had that spot in NXT. That wasn't for no reason. When she slammed Otis, I said that's for a reason. And they showcased her power. Matter of fact, something I learned recently was Lash Legend holds a lot of records in the Performance Center. I don't know if it's like weights, and I don't know necessarily, but she holds records. The girl did her thing in
The
this
record
match.
could be she ate the most pizza in one sitting. I mean, you should tell us what the
That's
record.
still impressive. I love pizza. I can only eat one slice.
I don't believe you, but you're right. It was a bad example.
Well, you're right. I can't. I should order pizza. What time is it, Alexa? What time is it?
It's 11:33.
No, I want her to work. I want her to do something for once. She always wakes me up in the morning, tell me I have to go to work.
I would love it if all of a sudden Alexa Bliss came into the camera shot.
And then me and Ryan Cabaro just fight. Was it Cabaro or Cabaro?
Don't know who
Cabrera.
he is, don't care, and she should leave.
He's a singer, and that's her husband.
I remember he used to date Ashley Simpson. I remember. Yep. But this match was really great. It had the emotion, especially at the end. Blair takes the win. I did not see that coming at all.
Nobody saw that coming. Hence, nobody.
Really? Because I did, and I have it predicted, and my predictions are on the record. Now,
okay, so why don't? Yeah, I was gonna say take the flow. Go ahead.
This was actually sort of easy for me to come to because you already had a story between Tiffany and Fallon, so they would sort of cancel each other. Last Legend had the power spots with Otis, so you knew she was going to do all the power stuff. Honestly, I think the power stuff camouflages nicely the way that she's still not really all that good at wrestling, but she's got all the potential in the world. I mean, people were saying give up on her. No, do not give up on her. She's a great athlete. She's got great personality. She's got all the energy in the world, and she's got she's statuesque size. So anyway, so I knew that was going to be her power showcase, and Kilani, she's just too young. By the way, even though she's only been in the public view for maybe 4 months, and she was sound with Dana Brooke for a couple of those months, she is in the running in my mind. I mean, I haven't put a lot of thought into it, but for Rookie of the Year, she's wrestled about 8 months total, like from the beginning of going to the Performance Center to now.
And she's up 25.
It is unbelievable how she's taken to this, how good she is now, and how good she's going to be, and how coordinated this match was with this kind of chaos. But Blair had no story, and Blair's the veteran, and you wanted to have a heel face Lyra Valkyria, and they know each other from NXT UK and the European wrestling scene, so it's going to be a safe match. And Blair's probably going to come up to the main roster pretty soon. It's pretty obvious that they're setting up Cora Jade to be the next challenger. So Blair was sort of the obvious one to me. I got the men's wrong. But in this one I got the logic right. Actually, even in my what NXT probably usually does logic, I still got the men's one wrong. So anyway, that's how I analyzed that one and came to the right answer.
I guess it's a Jeffrey thing here. And then please take the floor, Wrestling Dog. But Jeffrey agrees with Jeff. Jeff agrees with Jeff. And also, too, I'm going to give a shout out to this gentleman right here. This is my bodyguard. He is the Diesel to my Bret Hart. So thank you. Because I don't acknowledge
afterwards, when Blair was announced that she is the new #1 contender, Lyra comes out, which I didn't know was going to be Lyra. I thought it was going to be Nikita after what she did to Blair on Tuesday. But Lyra comes out holding up her belt, ready to fight her. And then out of nowhere,
Cora
Jade. Well, Cora Jade stood right up in Bridgeford, Connecticut and knocked Lyra out and held that belt up high as it was shown in our graphic for tonight.
Well, what a miracle a pair of new boobs can do for you.
Those boots were made for walking, and they walked her into that stadium.
But by the way, I want to tell you who the MVP of this match was, and that was Tiffany Stratton's top, because it worked really hard to keep those bad boys in.
Okay,
like the way the Vegas dops do sometimes.
Oh, this is fantastic.
It's like
it's after 11. We're a TVMA.
There we go. No, it's fantastic. We got
Jeffrey says we got 2 Jades in WWE now. Technically, Jade is her last name in her work name.
Don't you worry, Jade Cargill is never going to see an NXT ring.
You don't think so? I really think she is. No,
I've said it from the beginning. She will debut at the Royal Rumble.
I feel like she will make us an appearance on the Royal Rumble, but she's not going to be on the main roster because, like, okay, so there was that. Go ahead, please.
It's still too soon.
Yeah, and I was going to say Triple H.
Work on her for all the shit that the training school that she went to. No offense, Cody Rhodes.
Ooh.
Because she trained at the Nightmare Factory.
Whoa!
Yeah, but that could have been Dustin or QT. I mean,
he's gonna say that he trained her in his book, even though we all know that's not true.
Yeah.
But a lot of those AEW kids, they train at schools, and some of them can take their training in better than others. And that was the thing with Jake. She didn't take it in as well as some of those other people. Hence why they built her the way that they did, and then they made her one-dimensional.
I do want to say because
three-dimensional.
I do sit here and say, they mentioned on the Triple H on the they don't call it press conference. I almost said media scrum, but press conference. And when it was mentioning Jade, he made it clear, like, yeah, we have a diamond here, but we want to take our time with her. I think your best bet is
too soon, because then that diamond's gonna get scuffed.
I am telling you, UPR Universe, because you'll probably never see me on here again after tonight. This I'll get fired again. Jade will be in the Royal Rumble. She will set the record for eliminations. Then, like, 7 or 8 women will gang up on her, throw her out. They'll pretend that she was injured, and that's why you won't see her for the next 6 or 7 months while she goes back to training. Don't you worry.
So they're gonna turn to Nia Jax, is what you're saying.
I didn't say they were going to have her do supersets at the Golden Corral buffet, but
harsh, but not what I meant.
Listen, Jade Cargill is a star. Nia Jax doesn't have. I mean, Jade Cargill has superstar written all over her. It's just a question of keeping the presentation in the ring good enough. Nia Jax never had superstar written all over her.
Okay, here we go. And you know what? We're going to keep this train going, but we're going to play a quick commercial break. We're going to come back after the commercial, and we're going to talk more NXT DeadLine. Sleep.
Do you like Jelly Roll?
I see where this is going. Are you talking about the donut or the artist?
The artist.
I don't know who that is. I stopped listening to music. I just realized Dojo Cat is not a cat. It's a person. I thought it was a cat. I just learned that Ice Spice has a
Doja Cat was you probably listened to a lot of Doja Cat songs.
I thought it was a cat. I honestly, personally thought it was a cat, but I saw it was a person. I said, well, this is disappointing, but whatever. I just learned Ice Spice is not one of the Spice Girls. My point is, I stopped listening to music after 2010. So I don't know who any of these people are.
I can tell.
Thank you.
Jelly Roll was at Monday Night Raw. R-Truth had a segment with him. They had a segment backstage with the New Day, all this other stuff. He actually made a couple songs for WWE.
Who, the donut?
He's extremely popular, but you don't know who he is.
I'm more of a fan of glazed donuts, personally.
I can't deny it. I don't know who Jelly Roll is either. I didn't know who Jelly
Roll
was.
Thank you. You sit here trying to make me look like a fool. You're a liar.
The Doja Cat thing, I'm a little strange. And, both my roommates called, so now I'm about to go crazy. I don't see how you could not know who Doja Cat is. She made so much music, but I go to clubs. But you don't know who Jelly Roll is? Hey, more power to you. I didn't know who the hell that guy is.
That was fantastic. On Saturdays, we have the Raw and SmackDown review show. We did one earlier today. We went 2 hours, and then I hurried up so I could play my Spider-Man 2 because New York needs saving. But this is Unpopular Review, the NXT DeadLine review show. You got the great Grand Slam Pooba and UPR World Heavyweight Champion of the freaking galaxy, the Wrestling Doll, and then we have the Dose of Evil, Jeff Lippman.
Yeah, I never heard of Jelly Roll either. I don't know who Doja Cat is. Like, I wouldn't recognize
Dojo the Cat.
But I've heard of her. I've heard of her.
I know who Doja Cat is, though.
I've heard of her. I don't know who Jelly Roll is, and I never had heard of Jelly Roll before. I don't know who Doja Cat is, but I've heard of her.
I keep saying every chance I get that Jelly Roll made the intro for Bargain Getting or Bargain Garden, whatever the show with Carson Daly. It comes on right after
Wasn't
Raw.
there a Van Morrison song, Jelly Roll?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I used to like Jelly Roll, like Jelly Donut, and then I grew up and I liked glaze. It's great stuff.
Huh?
But let's keep moving on.
Let's move on to the match.
What we have next, Wrestling Doll? Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you. I got you. Carmelo Hayes going against Lexis King.
That's who I'm dressed as, or X-Pac, whatever way you want to look at me. Because I know I look like X-Pac. If my hair were blonde, I would look more like Lexis, but it's not so.
You don't need a beard.
I'm not growing a beard. I'm a woman.
There you go. Good job. There we go. You know, I used to see this thing as a kid because I watch a lot of Looney Tunes. I'm pretty sure I'm going to watch that later tonight, too, because it's fantastic before HBO Max. Oh, right. They don't call it HBO Max. Max take it off because whatever. But they used to have the thing with the bearded woman. And I said, you can't. I won't say nothing. Let's go. Melo against Lexis King. I didn't even know what my thoughts are. I'm sorry. I have 7 different thoughts. I'm like, my mind is like, you know, when you have like 7 different tabs open, that's my brain at the moment.
7 is a very special number.
At the moment.
I love 7. 7 is cool.
Days of the week, the 7 Wanderers, 7 is the number of God, 7 Archangels.
Honestly, my favorite number is actually 23. I'm not going to hold you guys. 23 is great. What cartoon am I watching? It's Looney Tunes. Did you not watch Looney Tunes? Is great. I'm watching Looney Tunes after this. Definitely going to do that.
Show on Max, I know, with a bearded woman would have been Carnival.
Huh?
Never mind.
Okay. But Melo goes against Lexis King. I'm just going to break it out. Just go straight into it. I just thought the right decision was for Melo to defeat Lexis King. I just didn't think that was the route to go. Lexis King, he's still growing. He doesn't hurt that he loses to Melo. Melo don't miss. Melo is the established star here. I thought Lexis had a good showing. I thought this was one of his better matches. Lexis, for me, he has a great presentation. You know, him coming out with the chair, the WCW Saturday Night main event music. You know, it's cool. But Melo's the better in-ring worker. I don't have any other things to add to this. So, Wrestling Doll, what's your thoughts?
I enjoyed the match. I mean, like I was saying during the watch party, I have a tendency to notice stuff of like what people are wearing and the colors and such. I've always been into fashion, which is why occasionally I will come on the show dressed up like a wrestler based on who I've seen, whoever I have stuff for, whatever I'm in the mood for. That's why I decided to dress like Lexis tonight. I was happy. I liked the color that Carmelo was wearing because it looked great on his complexion. I was sad to go with the pants, but it's whatever. But the match was great. Lexis had a good showing. I was more entertained seeing him tonight versus when I would always see him on AEW Dark as Brian Pillman Jr. of the Varsity Blondes with that god-awful mullet that they had on his head. I mean, what were they thinking? What was he thinking? But match was great. And the ending was even better because he got the mic and he told Melo, it wasn't me who attacked Trick, but thank you for giving me this premium live event spot.
Glad that you mentioned that last spot.
The smartest way to get a premium live spot without doing anything if he actually didn't attack Trick.
What do you got?
In fairness to AEW, Brian Pillman Jr. had that mullet before he went there, so it was a him thing, not them. But yeah,
his stupid thing. Then whatever he was on was stupid.
And his look now is also like cheesy and creepy, but it's purposely so. And his presentation is best. So yes, he definitely feels more important than he ever felt in AEW.
I agree.
You know, except for that one time that they tried to do a push, and basically they stomped on the grave of his almost deceased mother. Anyway, so moving on. Listen. Yes, Lexis King as the new guy can take a loss to Carmelo Hayes, one of the stalwarts and stars of the last 2 years, and it doesn't really hurt him. And it has been an NXT tradition that the new person they bring in generally does lose more often than they win for the first 8 months to a year, and then it turns around. And I don't think Lexis King is as far along as anybody would like him to, but he is showing improvement. This was the most complicated match he's been in since I've seen him, and that goes back to MLW days when he was with the New Heart Foundation and all the Varsity Blondes and any indie and other places that I've seen him. So good on that. I did sort of expect him to win with some sort of a swerve. I'm not sure what kind of swerve, and that's not a pun because they're both doing the I Am Him shirts or anything like that. But
you thought Strickland was going to be here?
No. I didn't. I did not think that Swerve Strickland was going to be there. I think anyone named Strickland was going to be there.
Strickland's too happy in AEW to go back to WWE now and ever.
Yeah, I think he's pretty. Anyway, that doesn't matter what I think on Swerve at the moment. But the match was okay. I thought the match was all right. I mean, I thought that they gave Carmelo protection to lose when they were teasing his hamstring was hurt when they took that awkward fall off there. But I don't know. I didn't love Melo's selling after that. He sold it for about 45 seconds. Then he starts running around and jumping all over the place. I mean, that was very Rushian, as in Rush, who never sells shit. So I don't know. I didn't love this match. I didn't love the end. I didn't love that I predicted it wrong. I didn't love that there wasn't more sort of shenanigans involved in the Lexis King, Trick Williams story. Though, I mean, they salvaged it, but they salvaged it in sort of like the easiest, lazy way. You know, he just got his ass kicked. And he's like, "Thank you for the great match." Shut up.
I'm sorry. I just want to make sure come on, laptop, work with me here. Okay, this is great because I wanted to get into the comments real quick, and my laptop is acting up. Because Jeffrey, he says he feels like a star in NXT. The presentation is everything, talking about Lexis King, and I totally agree with that. We were saying this on the watch party that when he was in AEW, I don't know, he just felt like another guy. He's only been here for what, 2-3 months maybe, and he feels his presence just feel a lot bigger, Like I said, just the entrance, the randomly just doing manic stuff. It just goes to show you how things could be so different, like just by just a tweak of things, or even growing facial hair. Or is that facial? Does that count as facial hair? The little beard that he has. Okay, all right. Then there we go. All that changed, but
it's very 1981, porn movie director. But yeah. It counts.
The director, not even like the not even.
Well, sometimes the directors cast themselves as the stars too.
Mm-hmm. Right,
Don't ask me how I know that.
I'm still gonna ask you. How do you know that?
I was young. I needed the money.
Yeah, listen. That's fair. And you lived in New York at the time, right?
Dahlia Dark is no selling this at all. So let's just move on.
She said.
I was looking back at the prediction video because of the next match we're gonna talk about. I just wanted to check to see if I said something during it.
Oh, okay.
We had
prediction show on Thursday.
Yes, and we had the men's Iron Survivor, Dijak Briggs, Tyler Bate, Whoop That Trick, and Braun Badass Breaker. Where is JL when you need him? JL's
outside screaming right now.
JL has probably challenged a 5-year-old to a wrestling match.
Singler might have said badass, but he did not look badass at the end of that match.
This match was really good. I was saying on the reviews on the watch show is that wow, what did I say? That's great. That is fantastic.
You said a lot.
Oh, I did. I don't even remember. Someone take the floor. Oh, damn. I really had a brain fart. Wow.
So we had the men's Iron Survivor Challenge. We had Dijak and Briggs starting it off, which I was completely surprised at. Briggs starting off. Dijak, not so much, because I feel like, he could literally destroy the crap out of Briggs and get a pinfall real quickly, which did happen. And then you had Tyler Bate come in, and then after a while Trick comes in, which I thought Trick was gonna come in last, but it's fine because everybody's going crazy and going to whoop that Trick like we were. And then Braun Breaker comes in right after and spears everybody into that penalty box. And I am the only one of our UPR family who called it that Trick was going to whoop all them tricks because of the very last minute. He gets 3 consecutive pins back to back, one given to him by Tyler Bader, Braun Breaker. And I was like, you idiot, you gave him a pin. And then Trick Williams gets that final sweet victory pin on Braun Breaker.
She called it.
And everybody was chanting to whoop that Trick.
Let's go. What do you got? I remember my thought now after like 3 minutes of just sitting here. But go ahead. What's your thought?
I don't want you to lose it again.
Trust me, I get lost easily. All I was just trying to sit here and say is that so Survivor Series, right? You had 2 War Games matches, and the women's match really just outshined the men's. I felt like in tonight the men's Iron Survivor match, the men did a better job. And not to say the women didn't do a great job. I thought the women were fantastic. I thought they played their roles very well. There was a lot of emotion.
Said in our watch party, the women did a good job, but the men showed up and showed out.
Absolutely. And that's all.
To deserve a raise. Well, the ones who produced it were Mr. Matt Bloom and Oni Lorcan.
Shout out to them.
So you can thank them for giving us that match.
Yeah, not Shawn Michaels. I just wanted to throw that out there. But please, Jeff, please take the floor.
Well, I thought it was a really hard-hitting match. And listen, the women's Iron Survivor match was sloppy at times. It was a little sloppy, but that's to be expected. The men probably might have been sloppy too, but it looked like they were slobber knockering each other, so you're sort of used to that. But I like the dynamic between Briggs and Dijak. I think that for sure we're going to see them as a Twin Towers type of tag team coming soon. I don't know how soon that's going to develop, but I mean, Jensen's a 0. He might be a -0. Well, he might be a -3. He's such a 0. And get rid of him. Shoot him in the cannon. But yeah, this was cool. I mean, Trick had 0. And he comes back.
Yo, that is so Looney Tunes. Just put him in the can. Is it by Acme?
Yeah.
I was thinking more Roadrunner and Wile E. Coyote.
Yeah,
exactly.
No, it would be an Acme cannon, that's for sure. I really was not interested in having Tyrion Lannister in the match, but he acquitted himself well. And I'm glad that he didn't win because he drives me crazy. Tyler Bate. I call him Tyrion Lannister.
You're not, because that was my pick. You're not a fan of Tyler Bate.
Not in the least. He's another one. They can shoot him in a cannon in the other direction.
Okay, I'm not. Come on, what's going on here?
He sucks. I mean, he's okay at wrestling, but look at him. He's 5'3.5". I'm not interested in seeing this guy. And he's got a giant mole on top of his eye. Get rid of him.
Tiny people in wrestling.
Yes, I am an absolute sizist.
He is a sizist. He's made it.
You
have offended.
There's room for
half the people I like.
That's okay, but there's room for exceptions, just not him. I mean, you can't call yourself the big strong boy.
Wait a minute, hold up, wait. Where's this energy when we talk about the great fraud Rey Mysterio? I don't understand this right here.
I have never been a Rey Mysterio fan a day.
Thank you. There we go. You have just won me over. Good. Well, you've always won me over. He invited me to his wedding. It was great. It was fantastic. We had pizza.
I mean, it was good when Kevin Nash threw him like a lawn dart into the side of an.
I loved all that. That's literally, how like people play noises to put them to sleep. I play when Nash threw him through the thing.
So that's like what First Nations flautist music.
You said everything in such a fancy way. So yes. Well done. You sound like because he agreed with all that. Yeah,
it's funny you should say that because we do have a lot in common, but it's one of those things where when you have things in common, you don't necessarily get along. Anyway, I thought the match was good. I thought it was choreographed well. I didn't think Trick was going to win, partly because I thought there was going to be some shenanigan involving not necessarily Mello or King, but something surrounding that. I thought Joe Gacy might come out from under the ring.
You said that as a tweet. Yeah, you said he was going to do something.
And I still think he might be the one that cost him the match. But the main reason I didn't think it would be Trick because he's hot as hell, and he's over hell, and the crowd would want a feel-good moment. But this isn't WrestleMania, and your champion is a face. So now you have a face versus face dynamic, which doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense in NXT where they try to do more traditional. So I figured they would be Braun, and then he'd be the entrant into the U.S. Championship title, and say right off of the momentum of winning the Iron Survivor match, Braun Breaker is the NXT entrance into the U.S. title. And then I could see Braun Breaker saying, listen, I'm on the main roster now. I'm going to get that U.S. title. I've moved past NXT. I don't want my title shot. And then they could have made it like a triple threat or something and put more people in it. But I also thought that with these shows that aren't PLEs but are big shows, that what NXT usually does is they give you someone who's like a Baron Corbin that is a face and have them lose in the title match. So I figured the Dijak was by NXT logic, the one. Trick didn't play into it because I just thought there was other things swirling around there. So my usual wrestling logic betrayed me here, and the desire to put a smile on the crowd's face overwhelmed it. But I'm still confused by it because of the face versus face. And you ended with the match with a face standing high over a heel. So I'm still confused, but I got it wrong. But I thought the match was excellent.
Yes, the match was. I mean, that last few. What would you say? The last 20 seconds?
Literally the last bit, as Braun was getting up there, everything that happened, he gets hit and he gets pinned. And I feel like with Trick winning, I feel like they realized that he's hot. And they gave us that feel-good moment when he won the NXT North American Championship. And then 3 days later, they take it away and give it back to Dominic.
Yeah, that was
they're trying to make it up to us in that sense, and also to strike while the iron is hot on how hot Trick Williams is. I mean, they're doing it for LA Knight. They're doing it for Jey Uso. They got to do it for somebody that's in the NXT roster. So why not Trick?
Why not? I mean,
well said.
He's a superstar in the making, and
yes,
and as good as Melo is,
somebody was going to come out and interfere during the men's Iron Survivors match. I said maybe Melo, and I think I did say Eddie Thorpe because he does have some beef with Dijak in there, and he did come out, which surprised the hell out of me. But I was happy as hell to see that Trick Williams.
I do want to sit here and say some things here.
Unintentionally.
I don't cheer for Eddie Thorpe. He's just not my bag. But when he came out and whatnot, I said, "Let's go, Eddie," because I was cheering for Tyler Bate. I'm like, I picked you. You have to win.
I was cheering for Tyler too when it felt like my pick was going to lose.
Yeah. So when Eddie did something, I said, "That's right. Let's go, DJ." Waka, waka, waka. That's my DJ impersonation.
The propeller move that Tyler Bate did, that was cool. That was a cool spot. I give him credit.
Oh, Tyler Bate in ring, he's fantastic. But Trick winning, I think I just wanted to give credit to Wrestling Dog because you said a lot of things right. Iron's hot. Let's hit. We're here. I don't see him winning, but right now,
it can still be a try to feel good, but he doesn't get. And with what happened at the end of the show could be a main reason why, which we will discuss.
I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't make it to that match.
We got in the chat. We have Betrayal Chris. He said he likes Rey Mysterio. And then we also have Jeffrey. He says Trick Williams was like in the ninth inning with bases loaded, hit a grand slam. I used to play Little League. I never did that.
I used to play Wii League.
What kind of Wii? Oh, I used to kick ass on that. I beat everyone. I beat my mother. I said, "Take that, Ma," and I was grounded for 2 weeks.
Okay. I was on the '86 Mets.
That means you was because that was the last time they won. Yeah. Good job. Shout out to you. We should get you back out there on the field because you know what? I cheer for the Mets, and then I have to put a bag over my head.
That's right. I was the backup catcher to Gary Carter.
There we go. Shout out to Carter of Gray. What's that? Gary Carter? I butcher names.
Well, rest in peace, Aaron Carter, because his birthday was a while ago and he would have been 36 today.
Oh, Aaron Carter? Shout out to Aaron Carter. I used to like some of his jams back on Radio Disney. He had some really good stuff. How I Beat Shaq. There was a few songs I used to like by him. I used to bop my head to them. I didn't bop my head to Nick Cannon. I used to say, not Nick. Yeah, Nick Cannon too, but Nick Carter. He made a song, Help Me, and I said, yes, me too. But let's move on to the next thing. We have Kiana James against Roxanne Perez. This was the match for me. And you know why? Because I was the only one who picked this. Let me paint you a picture, because I taught Picasso and then created fire. I sat here and said, Kiana James is going to win this. Everyone laughed at me. Everyone said, let's laugh at the funny guy. But I sat here and said, no, I'm serious. This is my breakthrough moment. And I am excited to tell you guys, I was no Jeffrey Reimer. We're not skipping this. This was great. Roxanne Perez came in here. No, I want this moment for me. I don't want anyone to speak at all. I was polite. I was the host with the most, but I am the champion right now because of this match. This was the game changer. Everyone thought, oh, Shea Sawyer was going to win. This is for the bad guy right here. And this win, I'm not celebrating with nobody. You know what I'm doing after this? Alexa, what time is it?
It's 12.
Oh, I can't order tacos. It's too damn late. Alexa, go to bed. Ignored. Like everybody in my life. This win was fantastic.
Maybe she listened. Maybe she just went to sleep.
No, oh yeah, no, the light is yellow, so maybe that is, or maybe she's peeing. I don't know. I don't know what's going on there. But I am so satisfied with this because everyone thought, and you know what it is? Because I know storytelling. I wrote books. When Dr. Seuss said, hey, who should be in this? I said, use a cat, because he wanted to use a fish. Idiot. And I sat here and said, well, look at this story right here. Kiana James never wins the rivalry. It's time that she finally got it. Roxanne Perez, she doesn't lose anything. She doesn't lose anything, guys. She doesn't lose anything about this law. She's well established in
titles in like 5 minutes of getting them, but I guess that's not important.
That's true. That's true. She loses a lot. But you know what? Kiana James, she also has Izzy, the fantastic Izzy, who helped her because she listened to that song from TLC, What About Your Friends? She helped her out, took out Roxanne Perez, and got the win. I'm so happy about this. You guys have no idea how happy I am about this because I was the only one, the successful one, the forever winner, the great Grand Slam Poobah, the Jack Mamba. Guys, take the floor because I think I've done a lot of yelling. So we're going to go with you, Wrestling Dog, because I need to catch my breath.
Well, for starters, she did try to attempt to escape the cage a few times like I called that she would because I didn't want it to be the steel cage where you could try to escape from like that. I was like, oh, God, no, but not be like that. What I did not call was for Izzy Dane to come out to help her, even though I should have, considering for the last few weeks she's had her back. For some particular reason, I feel like she might be giving her money or something behind the scenes. I don't know. But match was good. Kiana showed that she was strong. She's the only person in Deadline to be in it back-to-back as far as, like, in the pay-per-view. But, well, and Roxanne, but, yeah. Match was good. It did what it needed to do. They both have a win over each other. Now they'll probably eventually do something to make it a final squash and for all kind of thing. I don't know what. Have it be a grudge match. Have it be a straight fight. No disqualification. Last woman standing. I don't know. But something has to be done, and I feel like Roxanne should get some help because if Kiana's going to be going after her with Izzy, she's going to be outnumbered, and we don't need it to become a 2-on-1 handicap at this point.
The man of reason, Jeff Flipman.
Well, I picked Kiana James also. I mean, and one because
outstanding.
I'm a big fan of hers. I think low-key she's.
Oh, look, we found a fifth fan for Kiana.
Yeah. I think she's one of the best talents on NXT. Also, someone who's a relative newcomer to wrestling, and
goddamn cough.
It was very clear that Izzy was on her side, and I knew that Izzy was going to play in a role in it. So I was not surprised, except I was a little bit because they always have Roxanne win. But as you know, Ron, on Hammer Like Hangover, I texted my picks to Steve, and he begrudgingly read them and did his imitation. I know it's going to be Roxanne, but I'm going to pick Kiana James anyway, like that. So I got it right, and it was, like you said, it was an unpopular pick, but this is unpopular review, and it ended up being the right pick. So yay me on this one.
Yay you and yay me. You're defending World Heavyweight Champion of the Galaxy. I'm going to drink milk because there's something called the Milky Way, and I'm going to have some of that.
You're like Star-Lord.
I am much smarter though, because you know what he did, and
Yeah.
he was a dumbass in that movie.
Sucker
But you know, shout out to him because you know what, it led to Endgame. But yeah, he was a dumbass. He needed to get his emotion in. No, I'm not like Star Lord. I'm just Star Jack. We're gonna put that on Alexa. That's gonna be my 5th nickname.
I don't know that.
Moving on. Let's move on to the main event. We have who do we have? Well, we have Dragunov against Baron Corbin.
Who still doesn't know how to ride a lowrider?
Or
He's
wear a
riding
shirt.
and walking halfway the entire time, and he's polluting the air on the inside, putting out all those fumes inside, trying to kill everybody. First of all,
That was wild because when he was doing it, there was a lot of smoke. I said, "Where's that going? Where's that coming from?" Captain Planet wouldn't like that, but screw Captain Planet because he sucks.
But he's a
But
jiu-jitsu champion.
Who? Captain Planet?
Probably, but Baron Corbin, he like came in first in like some national jiu-jitsu competition.
See, I remember him being a Golden
I was
Glove.
about to say, you champion. What? That's not what happened tonight. Thank God.
Yeah, no, he got his ass kicked. I mean,
He got dominated.
he
You got Dominic?
Dominated. Yeah, he got
Baron
wrecked.
Corbin
Why
got
don't we?
dominated by somebody half his size.
So why don't we switch? Why don't we switch? Matter of fact, real quick before we talk in this main event, I'm sorry. Plugs, right? When we do a commercial break, we're going to talk about this. But you're watching Unpopular Review. If you're liking what you're seeing, if you're enjoying the review with myself, the Wrestling Doll, and Evil Dose, Jeff Lippman, like this video, subscribe to Unpopular Review. We're not far from 1,000, so please do that. I had someone threaten to unsubscribe. We don't want that. So please subscribe. We're gonna
wrote some not so nice stuff in the chat about.
I think because I'm so loud and brash, but when you're the best, you let people know you're the best. And I want to inform people, I want to inform people that when you're the best, you have to let people do that. Drink water and get at least 8 hours of sleep, because that's great. But we're going to play a commercial and then talk about this main event. This is Unpopular Review.
The rumors going around at AEW, one of the reasons why Hugh Marshall cut this because they're focusing more on in-ring athleticism as opposed to storyline talent in that match. Do you agree with this direction, if it's true, or do you think it's a bad move?
I don't agree with the framing of it. I think they said that they're gearing towards more of a New Japan pro wrestling style of booking, which is not devoid of storytelling. It's just a different type of storytelling. People like to do that. They like to pretend that you can either be a soap opera or you're GCW Bloodsport. Like, there is an in between. You can have a product that focuses on storytelling. This is actually something that Triple H has spoken about, because I was kind of a big part of his character. You can tell stories in the ring. You can tell stories about people as wrestlers. You can be a wrestler, and that is your character, as opposed to being a character that wrestles. And so, not that there's anything wrong with that, but I think that there's something people who, when we call on you, you're going to put on a good match. And people are going to be invested in your matches. Because you have to get people invested in the matches. Like, that's why they sell pay-per-views. That's why they're able to do that. Because you can watch a show on Netflix if you want a character. But if I'm going to pay you $50 to watch the show, that's 3 hours of wrestling. I better care about those matches, and they better be good matches. That's one thing about AEW. They don't miss with their pay-per-views. If you give them $50, they're going to give you $50 worth of whatever the fuck. And the people that they're trusting have to be able to deliver that. So.
Hey, folks, and we're going to talk about the main event. That was a commercial for the AEW review show. It goes on right after Dynamite. It's with the Sheriff, Dan the Man, sometimes the Executive Sultan, sometimes I'm there. It all depends. But they review Dynamite, so please check it out.
Hi,
Yes, hi, Tamara. Let's talk about this main event. It went exactly how I thought it would be. It went I don't think anyone thought Dragunov was going to lose. But I'm going to give the floor to you guys. I think, once again, a lot of yelling on my end. We'll start with you, Wrestling Doll, and then you, Jeff. So what did you think about this match?
Well, I totally had a feeling that Dragunov was going to destroy and beat the ever-living crap out of Baron Corbin. I didn't expect him to go after his ribs and try to nearly break the man in half, like if we were on Hellraiser or something. But match was great. They did everything that they needed to do. He got hit with the H-bomb like 4 times before he got destroyed. And the funny thing is, by the third H-bomb, he gets hugged in the middle of the match and whispers something in his ear, which it's not close enough to what we hear, what he's saying. But it was, I was like, this one said that that at this point Baron Corbin should just stop and leave him alone, because not only did you get hit with 3 H-bombs, but you got hugs during the match and humiliating you.
No, I did say that because, like, if you're getting your ass kicked and then you get hugged in the middle and then someone whisper in the ear, like, I don't know what it was, but he might have said, "I know your Google searches." He probably sat here and said, "Maybe I should just lay down." But go ahead, finish your thought.
But yeah, match was great. The ending was the correct outcome. And then at the very end of it, we get Trick Williams coming out to stare him down. And then in the back, and you can watch back the video of the watch party, I am shouting that Melo is right behind him. And we are going to get to heel turn. Melo is going to whoop his soon-to-be former friend Trick, and then they're going to have a feud, and everybody's going to be sad when it happens, and then everybody's going to start booing the crap out of Melo, and then it's probably going to go home out like, oh, Melo's the one that attacked him all along. You were right. We were wrong. Blah, 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 blah. I don't want that to happen, but it's whatever. Not the feud happening. I wouldn't mind seeing that, but I don't want Melo to be the one to come out to be the one to attack Trick, because that's too obvious and too expected.
There we go. What do you got, Jeff?
I thought it was a great match. Very hard hitting. This
One of Dragunov's best.
Yeah, and this run of Baron Corbin's in NXT is the most sustained and the most interesting he's ever been, in my opinion. He's had moments in WWE on the main roster, and I know people liked him when he was in NXT the first time around. I didn't really care for him. Frankly, his hairline was very difficult for me to tolerate. But that's neither here nor there. This thing that Dragunov has introduced into his repertoire of the hug and the whispering, between his intensity and the intimacy of it, which is so juxtaposed with the relationship, it's actually truly scary. It's like horror movie scary, and it really works. And I don't know if this is something he's done before in other places and I've never seen it, or if he's just stumbled upon it and realized that it worked, or he just wants to see it, but this works. And this would work as a heel as well as a face. And it's scary. And like, I don't mind the Dragunov as half of Corbin's size, because he wrestles like Darby Allin, except, and Darby is much, much smaller, but Darby wrestles like a guy who's smaller is trying to run. He throws himself around like a cannonball, but he's also precise. He's like a laser guided cannonball, unlike most of the luchadors like Phoenix and like Commander, who throw themselves around and like they just hope somebody's nearby. And sometimes they are. It's like Otto von Braun said in his book. He said, "Sometimes we hit London." That was the title of his book. Anyway, we don't need to go into rocketry at the moment. But yeah, I thought this was a great match, and I think the ending, gave it exactly what, as Dahlia Dark described it, and it was perfect. And we still don't know. We still don't know who attacked Trick, and they're not like overdoing it like this Devil's story in AEW, where it's like at this point, it's like, I don't even care anymore who it is. And wrestling, used to be that you could always tell when a group was going to break up. And now they've been doing it a few times. And when I say we, I mean a bunch of promotions where groups look like they're going to break up and they don't, and they stay together. And they've been doing that with Melo and Trick. And I'm glad, because that's effective. It's more real life. You don't usually break up, at the first sign of trouble. But this is interesting. And I'm interested to see where it goes. And now we've got, it's just, I don't want either of these guys to lose in the title match, but I'm sure that there'll be some sort of interference. And yes, the most likely thing is it's Melo is going to turn on Trick, but it's not the only thing. And that's what makes wrestling interesting, when there's more than one thing. And again, to contrast it with AEW, where there's about 7 or 8 people swirling around MJF, and that's too many. And I'm not even including the minions that go with the people who are swirling around MJF. That's too much for wrestling. But anyway, I that hugging thing and whispering in his ear, whatever he whispered, it almost was like he was. I thought I heard him say, "I'm sorry, but I love you." You know, the Shawn Michaels line to Ric Flair. I don't really like
I
that.
would
I don't really say.
Well, we got Jeffrey in the chat. He says he told him, "I'm your daddy." I don't.
He probably
Yes,
said you
I'm-
probably never should have brought my family into it or something like that.
Being
He
like, this
probably
is
said,
bullshit
also-
about me and call me out.
He also says more layers to the story. I do want to highlight some of the stuff. He says Darby's a risk taker. I also want to highlight my man right here.
Don't give an F or with wrestling.
Betrayal Chris. He says he loves you, Wrestling Dog, but he doesn't like me and Evil Dose, which I am very you know.
Subscribe to my YouTube channel.
well,
that's-
Chris Leclerc is my least favorite kind of Eclair. So there you go.
Well, I'm just gonna sit here and say this. When you make a sandwich, it's a mess. And I'm satisfied with what I said because I feel better about myself. But
Alexa,
he says,
turn Ron off.
Because it reminds me of videos.
would you want me to tell Alexa?
Alexa, turn Ron off.
Alexa, hold on. Alexa, I love you.
And I love how down to earth you are.
I'm not looking for a commitment, Ron.
No, she said she loved me back. No, she never said that before. She
I
wants
love
us
you
to.
like a friend, Ron.
Yeah, she told me that one time. And I was like, but. Well, actually,
Ron,
no, I didn't.
Ron, come. You're starting to get creepy.
Anyway, that's the show.
That's
So-
it. Yeah.
No, that's really it. I mean, like those are all the matches. I mean,
All right.
We had all the matches. We had the Dragunov standing strong and tall over a beaten down Baron Corbin. Like I said, Trick Williams comes out, stares him down, saying like, "I'm ready for my turn now." And then Melo's walking out behind him, and then it cuts to black.
So
And we
do
have-
you want an unpopular review exclusive of what actually happened with the Yeet thing or no?
sure, take the floor.
Or should I save it for my
I
own
read
shit?
it just now, so I know what it is.
Take the
All right.
floor.
All right. So, as most of you know, the yeet thing happened. Jey Uso was using yeet, apparently a West Coast slang explanation that you can use sort of as a verb, or basically like damn or yeah, whatever. You could make it depending on context. It can mean whatever you want it to mean. And it was doing very well because Jey is over as Rover. So WWE. I don't know if they didn't file for a trademark for it yet, but they got a cease and desist letter from Dusty Gwynn, who used to work for the firm I work for, but he currently works with Stephen P. New, who people know from Jim Cornette fame. And Jim Cornette, they represent an indie wrestler. I forget his name. I think it's like Casey Huffman, something like that, who's a West Virginia-based attorney who applied for a trademark for Yeet in wrestling in 2021. So everyone says he's owned it since 2021. No, he applied for it. And the status of earlier this week was that it had been denied. He had got an office action and a denial because they had not provided any proof that he was using it in commerce. Apparently, he only used the saying and used it as his finishing move, but they couldn't show that he was actually using it to sell any goods or services. He was just using it as an explanation. So it was sort of a shakedown thing. And so they filed a response, which yielded another response from the trademark office, who continued to deny it. But it's a non-final action, so they could have answered again. But they also issued a warning of possible suspension. But it's not like suspension in school. It's like suspension frozen. And the reason for the suspension is that the trademark office was advising this indie wrestler Huffman and attorney Dusty Gwynn that there was a previously earlier filed trademark as well for Yeet or having Yeet in it that might impact the passage or acceptance of this Yeet trademark, even if they could overcome the trademark office's objections or finding of deficiency, which the same suspension would have affected WWE as well. Now, I didn't look at the original trademark, so whatever happened here, they're not particularly worried apparently about the original trademark, but obviously the cease and desist letter, I don't think they were ever going to go to battle with WWE. Dusty, or whatever his name was, Casey, at this moment only had common law rights, which are not nearly as daunting as statutory rights, where you can get attorney's fees and statutory fees in the six figures, even if you can't show any loss. So what probably happened is the WWE entered into some sort of coexistence agreement or settlement agreement or licensing agreement, or they bought the rights outright from him for probably more money than this guy sees in 3 months of bookings. So that's what happened. More than likely, it's a coexistence, and this guy can sell a shirt, and his shirt sales will probably go up by 100 times for about 2 weeks, and then 5 times for the rest of his life. So that's the full story. It's not what you heard before. It's not substantially different, I suppose, in practicality. But if you are interested in details and the legal aspect involving law and wrestling is replete with stuff like this, including that Andrade Cien Almas's WWE trademark is blocking Andrade El Idolo's trademark from being granted, and it's the same guy.
I had no idea about any of this stuff, but fantastic stuff. What I agree with Jeff. Great information. And that's really the show for the NXT DeadLine review show. We hope that you guys enjoyed. Yes, and I hope that you guys enjoyed it. We all have our own projects, so why don't we start with you, Wrestling Dar, because you have a YouTube, don't you?
Yes, I do. I have a YouTube channel, The Unofficial Camera Woman. I go throughout Central Florida, and maybe once or twice a month, go down to South Florida for a bit, record some matches here and there. Mostly the same company that I go to see every now and then that have some people that have been on AEW, TNA/Impact, some that have been played characters or security and such on WWE. But we're climbing up them ranks, hitting that 979, just 21 away from hitting that 1K.
Outstanding. And that means, and I tell you guys, subscribe to our channel. Jeff, you're a busy man in the podcast world. Tell people where they can find you, sir.
Well, first and foremost, rumor has it that Evil Dose Jr. Also resides in Central Florida, so that might be something of interest. In any event, well, one of my projects is the Hammerlock Hangover podcast, which I do with UPR's very own Big Daddy Cool Steve Pena, and we are the original two. And more recently, the other co-host is right above to my left.
So you're right.
You're right.
Well, this is actually my left.
Oh,
yes, your left would be. I'm saying you're right as far as what you're seeing on the screen.
Whatever they're saying is obviously correct, and it is Bad Guy Jack. So every other week, it's usually always me but this week I took the week off. But Bad Guy Jack is the other co-host, and that's going to be a permanent thing, we hope. My other podcast is called Garden of Doom, and that is more esoteric, occult, arcane mythology, theosophy, religion, history, alternative history. And with it comes a free bonus show called Garden Views that you can't find anything else, which is more legal, business, tech, current affairs, geopolitics, and occasionally things of interest. Like last year for Valentine's Day, we had a matchmaker on, and this year for Valentine's Day, we're going to have a show with a sex witch. So there you go.
wow.
And occasionally I do stuff with the Drew Yari show, Drew Yari Experience, and occasionally you can find me on Wrestling Soup shows. There's usually a Mash with Mish, stuff like that. So yeah, it's gonna be fun. So yeah, those are the places that you can find me. On Twitter, I'm at IcarusFellMD. I encourage you to follow me, and happy to chat with you all.
Fantastic. It was great doing a show with you guys. I worked with Wrestling Doll a lot this year. I've had a lot of history with you, Jeff. We it was great. I'm your who?
You were at my wedding.
I was. I was surprised. He said, "Hey, I have a wedding. Come out." And I was like, "You asking me?" And I was very honored. It was a fantastic time. We had
when you thought you were the bride.
They did, because it was the legs, because I have very nice legs.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm here on Unpopular Review. I wish I could just tell you guys on Tuesdays you catch me, but honestly, when in doubt, break glass, send out Bad Guy Jack, and I will deliver. Amazon, I know you're jealous. Stop trying to email me and Gmail me, because I don't have time to read. So boom, you can catch me on Unpopular Review. but I also have this fantastic thing called the Big Pop Theory Podcast. We're going to record tomorrow. And one Shay Soy is going to have to hear me talk about how I'm the best and I'm the champ. And then when I get yelled at, I go, oh. But I have something called the Big Pop Theory Podcast. We review all of wrestling. We give our thoughts on some news, wrestling, and all that stuff, and whatever that just goes. We literally just hit record, and you're just hearing a conversation. And I'm also on Hammerlock Hangover too, so it's nice. We got Danny Webster. Hey, it's goddamn Danny. Wow, the name is fantastic. Porsche. What do you mean by Porsche? What about poor me? I'm the greatest, and I have to carry this stuff in my back, and I'm only. How much do I weigh? I don't know. Anyway, that's the show. We want to thank you guys. Continue to subscribe to Unpopular View. We have Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Twitch, Twitter. Because I'm not saying X. X gonna give it to you. We probably should end the show now because I will keep talking. With that said, thank you guys for watching. Continue to subscribe to Unpopular Review. And everyone, just say bye. Just say bye so we can end the show. There we go. There we go.
Stay evil, my friends.
Stay evil and farewell. Bye.